Earlier tonight to Steve and his daughters and his wife, but back in 1982, I had recently become state's attorney of Whiteside County. I had an assistant that left, and I had advertised for a new assistant. I got a dozen letters from prospective assistants, some who had been attorneys for a few years, some who, like Steve, were right out of law school. I read each and every one of those letters, and I put Steve's letter aside because it said something to the effect of, I have always wanted to be a prosecutor, and I am willing to make any sacrifice to become a great prosecutor. And being from out in the sticks, I looked at this boy from Berwyn's letter, and I thought, yeah, he's going to make a sacrifice, and that's come to Whiteside County for 6 months, and then go back to Berwyn. Luckily for me, and luckily for Steve, I think, I interviewed every one of the other candidates and didn't like any one of them. So I thought, well, do I advertise again? Well, I get this one letter from this kid from Berwyn. I hadn't been with Steve 5 minutes before I thought, this is a great young man, and we're going to have fun together. And Steve stayed with me for almost 7 years. When he interviewed with me, I said, you have to promise to stay a year. And I still hated it when he left and went to the Attorney General, but I'll echo everything everybody said. He's just a great young man, and it's just not fair that I look so old. And he's only a couple of years, well, maybe 10, younger than me, but he still looks just like he did when I hired him in 1982. Steve, it's been great knowing you, and it was great having you in a position in the Attorney General's office where anytime I needed help, I could call my friend Steve Plazibat and say, Steve, help. And he always sent some of the greatest prosecutors I ever knew out to help me on those cases. I got to know so many of you here from your coming out to Whiteside County. Steve Nate, Bill Elward, and I could go on and on. Steve, thank you. It's been great knowing you, and I hope we don't lose contact.